of a force to be reckoned with. You always have to talk about playoffs revolving around Bishop Dwenger when it comes to 4A football. It doesn't even matter how they did in the regular season. Obviously, they fared very well last week, beating Angola 45-7. We knew that probably wasn't going to be close, but East Noble with a nice win on the road last week against an undefeated Leo team, 10-7, and pitting two high-scoring offenses against each other where we don't talk about the defense as much. That sets up East Noble against Dwenger this Friday night. The game is going to kick at 7 o'clock at Bishop Darcy Stadium over at St. Francis. And these two teams have met each other in the playoffs many times. How do you feel about this one? Because Dwenger is playing some pretty good football, but East Noble can't be overlooked after beating Leo.
I'm going to have to borrow a coin from you and flip on this one because, East Noble, you would think just traditionally, we would say, no, Bishop Dwenger will win this game because they're the more tradition-rich program. East Noble goes into Leo and holds the Lions behind that massive offensive line of Leo's to 66 yards rushing. Very, very impressive feat. It was 10-7, but the score wasn't indicative of really how much East Noble dominated this game at times, and Leo hurt themselves with some turnovers and things of that nature. Here's where I'm talking about that balanced offense will really be effective. I think East Noble has the balanced offense to beat Bishop Dwenger. They can run the ball. Bryce Wolf can also throw the ball. Plus, they're getting great line play on both sides of the ball, which has really benefited them as they've gotten on this hot streak and beaten some really good teams of late. I think East Noble has all the weapons necessary to hang with Bishop Dwenger. I'm a little bit concerned that Mike Fiacable only completed 6 of 18 passes against Angola. I'd like to know exactly what happened there, but Fiacable has gotten better each week of this season. I love Mike Fiacable's game. And Dwenger has a balanced offense. They rely on Fiacable to run and pass both, but they can run the ball some. And they do have great receivers as well. So if you told me Dwenger's going to win this game, I wouldn't be shocked at all. But something tells me East Noble has a fighter's chance in this one.
And I'll tell you what, I was there for the first quarter of the game because all you needed to be there was for the first quarter of the game between Angola and Bishop Dwenger. And maybe it was just the fact that they didn't need much from Fiacable afterwards. It was 28-0 with a minute and a half left in the first quarter. So Fiacable, he gets it done. He got 3 touchdown passes in the first quarter, but just not a lot of completions. I guess every time he completes it, it's a touchdown, basically, for the Saints.
Schwarzkopf will take that.
Yeah, we'll all take that. Speaking of 4A, we're talking about sectional 20 now. Norwell, who's been on a fantastic roll after losing their first 5, they've won 6 in a row. They travel to New Haven, and New Haven's been doing it all season long, but they did that last year and then stumbled at home against Norwell in the playoffs, 22-20. So how do you see this one playing out, knowing that they can't stub their toe against a team like Norwell at home in the playoffs like they did last year?
Well, I would have said in the past that New Haven has a possibility of overlooking Norwell, but 2 things happened. First of all, New Haven got beat at East Noble badly this year, which a lot of teams ended up, but they got beat much more worse than they should have. So they've already stubbed their toe once this year. Plus, like you mentioned, last year's sectional defeat to Norwell in New Haven, they'll remember that. The Bulldog players will absolutely remember it. But it's interesting, when I was doing the research with Norwell, you really have to look at Norwell as having 2 seasons this year. Because here's what they did in the first half, here's what they did in the second half. The first half, they were averaging, they were allowing almost 32 points a game. But in that win streak, that 6-game win streak, they're only giving up 15 points a game defensively. So they're playing really good defense right now. And statistically, these are 2 very similar programs if you just look at the last 6 games of Norwell. Plus, both teams have balanced offenses, like I mentioned. I know people are going to get tired of hearing about that, but Pearson Harnish is a guy who can hurt you running and throwing, but Norwell as a team can run and can throw as well. But New Haven, obviously, they have the ability to really just ground and pound you, and then Van Scheer can also hurt you at times by passing the ball. So I think the key will be New Haven's defense is better than Norwell's offense. And I think that they will not overlook them this year, and they will somehow get a lead and then just ground and pound Norwell's defense.
Yeah, actually, the last time Norwell lost a game, it was week 5, and it was against New Haven, 28-7, although, like you said, they have flipped the script on the season and been tremendously successful since then.
I'm surprised they're even wearing the same uniforms. Like just make the whole program brand new.
Jeff Miller still probably wearing shorts every Friday, no matter what the temperature will be like, even though it should be chilly but dry this coming Friday.